Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Morning Coffee Talks. Respect is earned and not given. Let me tell y'all something. This is not if it's really three things in my life that made me transition from who I used to be into who I am becoming now, right? So I've went through like really three phases in my life. The first phase was when I was in my younger days when I first kind of got on my own, and I felt like I was like super ambitious and just outgoing and driven, right? And then the second phase was where I kind of fell off and somehow I lost myself. And now I'm coming into the third phase, which has been almost about the last year that I've really started to gain my old self back, but in a in an upgraded version, in a sense of getting back driven, ambitious, right, on point. That middle phase, I totally lost respect for myself, and in the midst of it, I didn't even know it, right? Getting overweight, stopped caring about how I looked, um, breaking promises to myself, and not respecting myself. And so in turn, I started to figure out that because I didn't and could not at the time respect myself, ultimately equal not love myself as well, that started to resonate outside of me into other people's eyes. And consciously, you don't even know it, but it hurts more when consciously you know it, when you do know it. And so that's one of the biggest driving factors for me. It's just that respect thing, man. Listen, I can go without love. I'm gonna keep it a bug. I can go without love. Like everybody know how to love me, but that respect, man, because it it creates a situation where, man, it for a man. I don't know about women, but for a man, dude, forget love, man. I'm not saying you don't need it and it's not a good thing, but respect over everything. Respect over everything. And for yourself and from other men. Because that's how we wired. We're very practical beings. Uh, we look at things very practical. And so I say that to say respect, man. You have to have respect from other men. You have to. That's just what it is. But you gotta respect yourself first. So a lot of men walk around expecting respect just because it exists. Respect isn't something you're entitled to, man. It is definitely something earned. And so that's whether that's in your marriage, your career, your friendship, or even how you see yourself, which I said, respect comes down from what you do, not what you demand. And I definitely want to break down how to get the respect you deserve as a man in the rest of this video. And so think about it like this. Why is respect earned and not given? Society don't respect um let me say it like this. No, society doesn't hand respect to men, right? We have to prove ourselves, we have to prove our value. And I shot a video about this. How we not born with no value. Man, we have to build everything, we have to gain everything, and we have to earn everything, right? And then the last part of that, you start to command stuff. You start to attract life to you. You start to attract respect and different things like that towards you. That's when you start to command your own life. So here's an example, right? And this is one thing I see in society lately. When it comes to your job, right? A boss, it's just what it is. A boss or a manager don't respect an employee just because they show up, right? They respect people who deliver results, right? You got it. You can't just come to work and just be like, "Oh, I'm here, right? I clocked in." Okay, you know what I'm saying? Are you giving results to whatever you're doing, right? And so put that in your own marriage, your own, situation. Just because you marry, it's the same thing. Just because you have the job doesn't give you respect. You have to lead. You have to provide and protect. that's when you start to get the results you're looking for. You start to get the respect. If you aren't respected, you just haven't demonstrated enough value yet to earn it. And that's something that again, listen, I told y'all guys, I don't be preaching to the choir, man. I've went through these phases, and it's kind of like I needed to go through it because, listen, it was a minute I went through. I didn't want to go through that long, but hey, man, some of us got our own story, right? But it just taught me so much, having everything taken away from me, right? Spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially at one point. I told you I got a story, a video I shot where, I told you about losing my job, how I got fired. And that was my main source of income. And I spiraled out to that. Thank God I didn't go to the other end where it was like, I could see how some men can go to the suicidal aspect of things because you put so much blood, sweat, and tears into a situation, and it's working as well, and then it gets stripped from you. And here's the crazy part. Yes, it was at my own fault, but I never would have thought I would have went out like that. And that just totally threw me downhill where I lost myself. So anyway, what are some, like I said, I have my own pillars, but I did some research on and looked at some experience with some pillars of earning respect. Listen, number one, and again, this is for me as well. If you don't respect yourself, nobody else will. That's just what it is. You out here breaking promises. You tolerate disrespect from others. You let your emotions control you. That's a lack of self-respect, right? At some point, you have to start having non-negotiable standards for how you live. When it comes to your time, your habits, and how people treat you. You have to create that if you want to earn your respect from yourself. This next thing, right? Be a man of your word. I remember being 19 and I was working in the retail, right? This is before I even went into management, but I remember there was a shift that was down, and one of the managers called me. It was a female manager. She was like, "Hey, can you pick up the shift?" So I was like, "Yeah, I got it." I think it might be Tuesday. She said, "Hey, can you come in on Thursday?" I don't remember what day it was, right? But I remember like that Wednesday, she had texted me like, "You still coming in?" And I was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna make it." And she ended up calling me, and she was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh, I just don't want to come in no more." And she was like, "Man, I really had you, you told me a couple of days ago that you were going to come in. Are you not a man of your word?" When I tell y'all, when she said that, and again, it wasn't she was being rude. She was just being very direct. And that words, like shot a lightning bolt through my body. And I'm like, dang, nah, like I ended up coming in, right? But I remember like that hit me so emotionally in the sense of like, nah, I gotta be a man of my word because that's not who I am. That was at 19. You know what I mean? So people respect you doing what you say you're gonna do. Right? If you say you're gonna do something, do it. If you say you can't do something, then don't do it. But say you can't do it. But once you make that commitment, you have to do it. Right? That's just what it is. Are there still situations where you can get out of it? Yeah, if you get really ill or you really get injured or something like that, or really a life situation. But if it's something basic, like you got to show up, man. You got to show up. That's just what it is. Again, take this for when it comes to your marriage. If you tell your wife you're going to take care of something, you got to handle it. And one of the things that I had to consistently work on every once in a while, and I'm not perfect with it, but you can't have her reminding you, bro. You can't have her reminding you, right? If you tell your friend you're going to meet, this is a big thing for me. I love to be punctual. I'd rather get that 15 minutes early than to be 5 minutes late. I hate being late. I hate being late for stuff. I don't get it. I don't get how people can not be on time. It's just very embarrassing to me. I don't know. I remember when I was younger and we used to go to church so late. Like you would walk in, the sermon already started, people turning their head back, looking at you. It was just embarrassing. That was the one thing I hated, was not being punctual. And it's like, why not? Like, it just, I don't know. I just hate not being on point like that. And I hate just not being on time. So anyway, listen, if you're going to tell somebody you're going to meet them at a certain time or something like that, be on time. Reliability and stuff like that equals respect, man. And, command your respect through your actions. Weak man demand respect. Strong man command it. I remember, again, I had so many stories working in retail, right? I finally got into management when I was in retail. And it's a story when I was at the gas station. I remember this one dude was trying to get promoted. It was like, all right, cool, we'll let you run a shift, right? And so they let him run a shift, and like nobody was listening to him, right? And I remember, so we pulled him to the back. It was like, hey, so how's it going? He was like, man, nobody ain't doing what I say. I tell them to do. I'm the manager. They gotta listen to me. And it was just like, so you're demanding people respect versus commanding it, right? And I just remember like, yeah, bro, that's not how it works, you know. But ways you can earn respect is you can master a skill, right? You can provide value through that, like through your experiences. Everybody has something they can provide. It just is it to a multitude of people or just a few people. That's how it works. But you got to master something, right? And that's one thing. I used to be good at a lot of things, but I was a master of no things. And so, keep your emotions in check as well. Also, walk with confidence, but you have to build yourself up to be able to walk with that confidence, or have something that that's working and you provide a skill to people, and that brings confidence as well, because people look to you for that particular value. Let's really talk about your relationship, respecting your relationships when it comes to words in your social life, your marriage, right? Women don't respect men who are needy, who are passive, and who's unreliable. Like, again, those things, you bring no value, especially when you're unreliable. Like, again, man, that's just the way it is. If you can't do nothing for somebody, people, they gonna write you off. You become invisible. Like, you have to, if people can call you for something, I'll give you a story. I have a friend, right? He was, him and his family was moving from Florida back to Atlanta. And he called me. He was like, hey, man, do you know any real estate agents? Boom, I did, right? Literally in like 5 minutes, sent him the information. He connected. Long story short, great relationship with the real estate agent who I knew. They got a chance to, close on the house. They told me like it was just a great situation versus the other real estate agents. And they ended up moving back to Atlanta. Just the whole thing went nicely. But that's because I'm reliable. Like if I know somebody and I stand on it, then I'm gonna do that. Another situation, right? I got a homeboy, right? My best man. I remember his cousin was asking me just like a while ago. His cousin was asking me about like a job or something when I was working in retail management, and I said, look, he was calling me, and he was asking me about the job or whatever, and I was like, well, if my homeboy, like, he didn't even have to give, he was asking me about the job. I said, look, let's just stop. If my homeboy, who is your cousin, tell me you'll green light, that's what it is. We ain't got to go through it. You know what I mean? But that's because it was respect for my homeboy, who was my best man in my wedding. So much respect for him. So if he recommended somebody, I don't need no more question. I'm not even questioning it. But that's just how our relationship was. It's a go. You know what I mean? So that's just how it should be. You have to have respect and be able to rely on people. So I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, if you need something, if you know somebody, right, and you send them my way, because I respect you so much, and you send them my way, like, hey, can you help this person? No questions asked, I got it. But you got to get to that point. So anyway, that's men who respect men. Women, again, respect men who lead, make decisions, and who can stand firm on who they are, and they can stand firm on they swear. Don't just say you're going to take care of something. You got to show your actions and be dependable, and just know that that's the only way that women really respect men, is being able to bring that value. Again, I just talked about the story when it comes to your work and business. A title, just because you got a title, doesn't earn you respect. Now, some titles can. Don't get it twisted. You say you're a CEO, when you, again, not anybody know anything about you, walk in the room, they're like, oh, that's the owner. You instantly gonna get respect. Now you can lose respect, right? If people don't think you competent, and your work ethic suck, you just don't, you're not on point, you're not consistent, you're gonna lose a lot of respect. That's just what it is. But I've always respected people, especially when it comes to work, who go beyond and above, right? Versus somebody who do the bare minimum. Like you just, yeah, I'm like, man, just because who I am, I think how you work is a track record, right? It's like a paper trail. So like those people who be like, man, I hate this job, I need to get this other job. If you're not lit at this job you at right now, if you're not taking care of business, if you're not consistent, you're not putting in the work, you think you're gonna be better at the next job? You're not, because your work ethic is a paper trail. No matter where you go, if you haven't changed, if you haven't been the best you can be there, that's not gonna translate no matter where you go. Every job I went to, it's always been a window where they're like, hey, do you want to go to the next level? Right? Do you want to get promoted? And that's because I've earned it. But it's on you at that point if you want to take those opportunities. But again, every situation since when I first built my skills up and got into management, from there, I've always had a window where it's like, hey, do you want to even go further? And, those are the opportunities that came towards me. So again, wherever you go, you have to add value. And that's the only way you're going to start to command respect. Social circles, I talked about your friends and stuff like that. And even outside of friends, you can't let people walk over you, because if you do, they will. Trust and believe. If you don't set boundaries, people are going to test your boundaries, right? The way you respond to things determines your level of respect. I don't know what happened, man, but I just know that, again, through my middle transition, I did not address. Let me just say this: where I am now, if I feel some disrespect, off the top, I'm addressing it. It don't matter where I'm at. It don't matter what situation I'm in. I gotta address it, man. If I feel like it's disrespect, right? If you are silent, that means you're accepting it. I accept no disrespect. That's just what it is. That's just who I always, and that's honestly, that's who I always been. It just kind of wavered when I was when I was fat and overweight, right? Because I didn't respect myself. So it was just easy for me to allow disrespect, which kind of created a vicious cycle. Where again, other people disrespecting you, you allow it, so you start to disrespect yourself because you didn't respect yourself, and you allow other people to respect you. Crazy situation. But listen, let's get ready to get this video almost 20 minutes long, but hope y'all getting value. But my final thought about it is, respect is a byproduct of who you are, right? Again, respect, and this is why I love getting in shape. This is why I love doing what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it, and I'm respecting myself. Respect isn't something you can buy. Your body getting in shape isn't something you can buy. All this stuff is something you got to earn, man. These are things money can't buy. This is what really shows value, right? When you walk in the room and you in shape, instantly people respect you, because you know why? Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't do it. You showing up and being a certain way, having a certain track record, everybody can't do it. Respect isn't something you can buy. You can't beg for it. You can't force it, right? It's something that naturally follows man who live with what? Discipline, integrity, confidence. And this is why I've been so adamant lately about, getting in shape, man. I'm almost there. I can't wait to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all can see it through the video a little bit, like, man, dude, I can tell you lost some weight, blah, blah, blah. You can see it in some of my shorts, like my cuts coming in. Listen, I'm almost there, and I can't wait to be like, man, look, this is what happened when you put the work in, right? This is what happened when you start to respect yourself, right? Stop looking for approval and start rebuilding yourself into the man that people can love and respect, right? And that's just what it is, man. Bring value to yourself, and you start to bring value to others. Listen, drop a comment below. Subscribe to the Husband Code if it's your first time. If you've been watching for a while, subscribe. Also, if you got any value from this video, hit that like button. Also, you know, we're dropping videos like this every single day. Go and hit that notification bell. And until next time, listen, I greatly appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.